Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Tiger Eye Talk. Here with me today, we have our guest, Walter Green, and our team member, Amy Garvey, who is also joining me today. So, I'm going to introduce Walter a little bit and then give him the opportunity also to tell you a little bit more about himself and what he does as an entrepreneur. So, Walter Green is an experienced executive with over 20 years of experience leading and managing teams in many different industries. He has a proven track record of success in areas such as business development, sales training, budgets, and senior customer service. Currently, Walter is the owner of a startup funding company that specializes in providing innovative solutions to improve customer experience. Before his current role, he held a general manager position in several high-end companies. Examples: Verizon, Sprint, and WorldCom, where he was responsible for driving growth and profitability. Throughout his career, Walter has developed a deep understanding of many different industries. He's also demonstrated strong leadership skills as he inspires and motivates his teams to achieve their goals and deliver excellent results. Walter holds a degree from University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, and he is a member of several professional organizations. In his spare time, he enjoys golf, hiking, and spending time with his family. Welcome, Walter. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. That was a very good bio. I wonder who wrote that.
I don't know.
But yes, thank you very much for having me on your show. I really do appreciate it. Everybody in the audience, thank you very much for showing up. Some of the things that I do in regards to the business I currently have now is I do funding for businesses, whether it be startups, e-commerce, mature businesses, and everything in between. And one of the reasons why I started this business a year ago is because I found a market out there that a lot of people were at that particular time working from home. A lot of people are still working from home now. So what they want is people have always wanted to start their own situation. They've always wanted to achieve their dreams, whether that be a freelance writer, whether it be a virtual assistant, whether it be owning a coffee shop, whatever it might be. They didn't want to go back and work for corporate America again. Another reason why I started this business is I got laid off from my corporate job in March of 20 because of COVID. And at that particular time, I just did not want to go back and work for corporate America anymore, because nowadays you're just a number. You're just a commodity. You're not a valued employee, because they want to replace you with somebody else that might be getting a lower pay. So I decided to start doing some things myself, which led up to where I'm at right now. This is the best way I can think about, and in order to get people to the next level as far as either starting a company or expanding their company, and that's to give them money through all the partnerships that I have. We have anywhere between 400 and 500 different banks that we can go to in order to get your funding needs taken care of.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that maybe some people may misunderstand about what you do? I'm sure you talk to a lot of different people, about what it is that you do.
That is a great question. A lot of people have the misunderstanding that they have to go to a bank, like, say, for instance, a Bank of America or Truist or whatever, not knowing that we have relationships with those type of banks. Also, we have relationships with a lot of community banks. We also have a lot of relationships with PE, which are private equity firms, and many different types of firms that we can go to in order to get the funding that you need. Another misconception is that, okay, well, since I'm going through a broker, which is myself, I'm going to pay higher rates. That's not the case. The thing is that we go to many different banks in order to you present me with a package. I go to the people that I feel they're going to be the people that are going to approve it based on your credit and so on and so forth. And we send it out. They bid on it. They're going to try to be the lowest that they can. They still want to make money, obviously, but they're going to be the lowest that they can. I present that to you, or the partners that I have will present that to you, and then we'll go from there. So there is a definite misconception that rates are higher. Also, you don't have the resources that a Bank of America or Truist does have, and actually I have a lot more resources than them. Because the thing about it is that if you bank at Bank of America and you have a certain type of business, and they don't care how much money you have in the bank, if you don't fit into their little box, you are not getting approved. And unfortunately, especially on the SBA side, 87% of loans are denied. Only 13% nationwide are actually approved. Because if you don't fit in their box, they don't care. So
that makes sense too.
Yeah.
It really does.
And the bad thing about it is that you're not going to find your decline for 6 months. We'll tell you in a couple days. But normally, if you have all the right paperwork, you're doing some good revenue stream. Your credit is good, personal and business. And we, like I said before in our offline discussion, we got this guy $100,000 in a couple of days, and now he's doing another project with us, which is going to help him with his cash flow for about $860,000. So the thing is that we're basically from soup to nuts. We want to help you out in any way that we can in order to continue your business running or expanding your business.
Nice.
Okay.
Amy, do you have a question for him?
No, not right off the top of my head. Everything that he said makes good sense. And banks are
really
going to have a certain rate too, based on the type of loan that you take out. They don't, there's not really much room for negotiation there. So.
Well, there is room for negotiation depending on how large the loan is. But the thing about it is that what we try to do is that we try to give you the lowest rate that's possible. Based on,
I like the folks bidding on it. I think makes a lot more sense than
right.
going to your bank.
Right. Kind of like if you buy a car at CarMax, and the car is $20,000, and that's the lowest they can go. It's $20,000. There you go. That's the lowest that we can go. It's a very competitive price, obviously depending on the car and year and so on and so forth.
Right.
That's what we try to do too. We don't want to get any bidding wars with people, because this is a side project for them. Yes, they need the money. Yes, they want to improve their business. Yes, they want to get supplies or improve their product or whatever it might be. They want to get the money and take care of stuff. So people don't have time to be messing around. So we don't mess around. So we make sure that we come to you with the best deal and kind of go from there.
Awesome. I want to acknowledge we have Mary Moss that has joined us online today.
Oh,
thank you, Mary, for joining us. She says, turning lemons into lemonade. And then she also made a statement, so many aren't aware of an alternative to traditional financing. Mm-hmm. How true is that? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that are not aware, but you also need to know that as of 2019, 2020, a lot of the banks that I mentioned are actually spinning off different companies in order to do the exact same thing that I did. Mm-hmm. Because they see the market and they know that that traditionally they won't be able to help these people, but if they form another company, shell company, whatever, I don't know the name of these companies, it doesn't really matter, but they also know that, hey, we want to get in on this as well. So they form these other companies. Do I care about that? No, not really. I mean, you got 33 million businesses in the United States. I can also do overseas as well, depending on where it is. So I'm just trying to help as many people as I possibly can.
Awesome. That relationship is important.
Yeah, relationships are very, very important. As you know, Lisa, relationships are very important. And I'm sure that you know that as well. Because if you have a quasi bad relationship with somebody, you don't treat them well, they're going to tell 1,000 people. But if you do treat them well, they only tell 10. So
right.
That is true. So what is the number one takeaway that clients experience when they work with you?
I think the number one takeaway, whether they are approved or declined, is that I've gone to the integrator in order to try to help them. And at our off conversation, there have been some people that I have gotten that did not pass the requirements for whatever reason. But I don't let that discourage them, because the thing about it is you have a lot of other brokers, a lot of other broker houses or whatever you want to call them, that might be like, okay, well, we're done. Give me a call back when your credit goes up. What I try to do is the next step. Say, hey, do you want to improve your credit? Do you want to get to yourself to the next level in order to take care of that? I actually had that to somebody last week. They came back to me after their credit was not approved, And this is about 5 months ago. And they came back to me last week, and their credit went from like, I think it was like 560 or something up to like 660 or 670, which is a vast improvement over the course of 5 months. But what they did is I suggested they need to go to them a credit place and get their stuff taken care of. So that's what they did, and they got approved, not for the amount that they wanted, but also I like to set expectations and make sure that people know that, you know, you're not going to get all the money that you want. In the climate that we're currently in right now, you have to prove yourself to these entities in order to get yourself to the next level. So you can kind of go from there. So they got approved for $25,000, which was good for them because they could take $20,000 of that, put it down as a down payment on the business that they wanted to buy, and then we'll work out the rest as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Amy, you have any questions at this point?
No, not right now. It all makes good sense.
It does make perfect sense.
Well, I'm glad I'm so clear.
Yeah.
It does. So what's the best compliment maybe that you have received from a client?
That is good, and that's going to lead into another service that I have. I have a young lady that I met on Happy Neighborhood Project, which is one of the networking groups that I go through quite frequently to help people out and vice versa. If your audience does not know what the ERC is Employee Retention Credit. The Employee Retention Credit is that if you employed W-2 employees in 2020 and or 2021, you can get up to $26,000 per employee. I had this young lady who has a smaller business. It's basically a home business for the elderly. So when they're at their last leg, they come to her. She takes care of them. It's kind of a hospice situation. Mm-hmm. And she had like 4 employees. She qualified for $32,000, which in the grand scheme of things might not be that much for some people, but to her it was like $32,000. You know, it was like $320,000. You're right, exactly. So the thing is that before that, her son was telling her, "Hey, don't do this. This is a scam. I don't know why you would blah blah blah." I kept on trying to tell her this is not, and she would call me like once a month, and then when's my check gonna be here? Blah blah blah. So long story short, she got her check about 3 weeks ago. Okay. And she, about 3 weeks ago, and she told me some of the improvements that she's going to do. She's going to get her. I think there's a couple of different beds that either need to be fixed or she's going to replace them. She wants to paint her house. She wants to get a better kitchen situation. So mm-hmm. these things help. And the thing is that what our audience needs to realize is that, you know what? I respect your accountants. I respect the people that are around you, but they don't know what they're talking about. Because the fact of the matter is that if she would not have acted on that, she would have been $32,000 poor, and I wouldn't have this story for this. So I would really, really encourage, if it's not through me, go through somebody else. I don't care what your accountant said, because my aunt went through the exact same situation. She had an accountant for 30 years. And the fact of the matter is that accountant did not want to deal with the employee retention credit, because there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to get that. I don't do it myself. I go through a service that actually does it. So long story short, last week she got herself a check for $88,000. Just because she listened to me and said, I don't have anything against your accountant or your bookkeeper or whatever. Just try it. It's literally free to do this. We get all your information. We come back with the figures, and it's guaranteed that you won't get on it. So they're audited. So it's a guaranteed type of situation. So she's extremely happy. They made good money. Her husband, which is my uncle, is a neurosurgeon. She's a pediatrician. She owns her own. They have good money, but $88,000 is $88,000. So they're extremely happy. So I would encourage your audience, if you want to put something in the chat, make an appointment with me. Let's have a conversation. It literally can't hurt. It can't hurt. Right. And we put you through the process. They come back with a figure, and you kind of go from there. One more story on ERC I just thought about. I have a guy who signed a contract last week. When we first initially he went to somebody else. This company was taking a long time. They were only going to give him $78,000, okay, which is a good amount, okay. He said, "Hey, Walter, can you help me out? Will it affect my blah, blah, blah?" I was like, "No, did you give me money?" "No, I didn't give any money." "Good. So we're going to go ahead and do this." When we did it, I got all his information, and with the company that I go through, they came back and they sent him an agreement for him to sign. And believe this or not $78,000, $394,000.
Wow. That's a big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would have lost basically what, $320,000.
Yes.
Right.
Just based off of what our due diligence was one of the reasons why I go through this company. And I called him up and said, "Hey, did you get that email?" "Oh, yeah. I'm about to sign it right now. He was ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic. And that's going to take his moving company, which is down in Florida, to the next level. They can maybe lease a couple more trucks, get a couple more workers, maybe spruce up the office. I don't know, whatever they're going to do, and kind of go from there. So I would encourage everybody to do it. If it's not for me, then go to somebody that you trust. And if they come back and say, "Well, you're not qualified," then give me a call. Maybe you don't qualify. I don't know. But you know what? It takes 5 minutes, and it can be 5 minutes that can change your company's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does your family think about this? I mean, how do they describe what you do?
My son was just in here, and he always asks what I do. I said, I take other people's money and give it to other people. He's like, "What? Huh? What are you talking about?" So they're fine. They're good with it. I explain some things sometimes, but he's only 7 years old, so he has no idea.
Right.
So we just kind of go from there. They enjoy what I do, and the one thing about about being an entrepreneur, especially being an entrepreneur at home, is I can take care of a lot more things at home and do a lot more things at home than if I was to drive, and especially in Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta, you know what the traffic is like. Especially in Atlanta, driving from here where I live in East Cobb all the way to Midtown or Buckhead or whatever, and because I had to do that back in the 90s when there wasn't really there were cell phones, but they weren't very prominent at that particular
car phones.
Right, exactly, and you're right, exactly. And you had I was doing what was I doing at the time? I actually worked for WorldCom at that particular time, and we were grunts. We were out in the fields with our suit and ties, and it's like 90-something degrees outside with 85% humidity. Work from home? You ain't working from home, unless you were sick, But it was trying times at that particular time, and now I think it's fantastic, and everybody needs to jump on board. If you've been thinking about accomplishing your dreams, you might be working at a 9-to-5 right now, but you've always wanted to do X, Y, or Z. This is a perfect time to do it. I mean, just ask Jeff Bezos, just ask Elon Musk, just ask whomever you want to ask who's a billionaire, or somebody that says, "You know what, I make $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year. And I'm incredibly happy because you know why? I get to spend more time with my kids, my wife, my friends. I can take my laptop, hop on a plane, go somewhere, get an Airbnb for a couple of weeks, and just work. But I'm in a different state, different situation, and that's what I love about being an entrepreneur. Is that you can just pick up and go anywhere you want to, as opposed to, okay, let me put in for vacation this time of the year. This time, I can't take that off because it's all blacked out. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Absolutely. The flexibility is
phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
So how can our viewers get in contact with you if they are interested in contacting you?
I got let me see. Can I put anything in the chat or no? I don't think so.
I can put it in the comments below this video after we're done.
They can get in contact with me because I tell you what, I have my, did I say my digital business card? I don't know if I did or not. Probably not.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let me see if, I can put it in the comments here. Okay. Can I put it in the comments?
Sure.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get my digital business card here because it's, one thing is that people that are on here, get yourself a digital business card. I pay nothing for this one. I'm on to a lot of free stuff, but it's actually a really, really good digital business card. I don't get anything from this, just so you know, but it's actually a really good digital business card, and it's something that will help you, since we all have basically, nationwide businesses. This will definitely help you when somebody says, "Hey, send me your information," because you can put that in your deal. Put that in your. I've got to join the chat. What is connect? All right. What is that?
Awesome.
So anyway, so it will definitely help you out in the long run, for sure.
Nice.
I got to sign into the chat, I guess. So
Amy, what have you learned from what Walter has shared today?
Basically just that there are alternative funding sources out there, which is not something that really would have occurred to me. If I needed funding, I would probably initially go to my bank.
Right.
So just learning that a business like Walter's exists is extremely helpful.
Absolutely.
Extremely helpful. And about the fact that the companies bid against one another for your business,
That's awesome too,
I
right?
like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I just put my information right to you, Lisa. If you just want to copy and paste, I don't know what's going on.
I see it there.
Because I had to join the chat. I tried to join the chat, and it wouldn't let me do anything. So you just put my information anyway. So you can get in contact with me like that. Just click on that. It'll show you everything that I do, or have all my contact information and so on and so forth. Just make an appointment with me. Give me a call, whatever you like to do, and then we'll rock and roll from there.
Awesome. This was great. I mean, I learned a lot myself, right? And I've had some conversations with Walter before.
Well, you gotta keep it fresh. Gotta keep it fresh.
Right.
Oh yes.
Absolutely. So to all our viewers, if you are interested in learning more or possibly even applying for some money, you need some funding, have that conversation, schedule a conversation with Walter.
Oh, also I want to say is that all the credit inquiries that we do are soft credit checks.
Awesome.
Okay. So it will not affect your credit. That's the only companies that we go through, because hard credit checks are silly. Okay. But because you just want to find out. But yeah, so they're all soft credit checks. So it won't cost you anything to do that.
That's awesome. Very good to know.
Nice.
Because some people do worry about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do, for sure. So if you are looking for some funding and would like to find more information, I'm sure Walter has some way, shape, or form that he can find you some funding. Find how much you need, what it's for, all the things, all the different things. So I want to thank you, Walter, for being our guest today. This was, oh my goodness, so beneficial. We learned so much from you today. And again, if you want to have a conversation, just to build that relationship with Walter, I encourage you to reach out and schedule a time to talk to him. If you are watching us today on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will be notified every time we go live. And I also want to invite anyone who's watching today, if you're not a part of my Facebook group, Relationship Communications, head on over to Facebook. It's a free group. It's, oh my gosh, so much networking goes on in there. And you can make a lot of different connections in there. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Mary Moss, for being on with us today. Thank you, Amy and Walter, both for being here as well. So until next month, I hope everyone has a great rest of July. Thank you.
Thank you.